seconds to go. Florida trying to end it up against the wall, which would be fitting. 3 seconds to go. The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup. For the first time in their 30-year history, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions. They made it about as hard on themselves as they possibly could, battling a valiant Edmonton team that had rallied from adversity all season long. And Paul Maurice, coaching lifer, 30 years in the National Hockey League, has his Stanley Cup.
What the puck is going on?
Here's the host of What the Puck is Going On, Dave Metzger.
All right, welcome back in. We are back for the Thursday night installment. What the Puck is Going On?
How about
decent
that?
little
Thursday
slate
night
tonight. Yeah, a little Thursday night here. We're going to cover some stuff, some interesting matchups here. Steve, how are you this evening?
Not too bad, Dave. Finding new ways to lose over here with the March Madness on the cusp and golf. My first round leader in golf. I had the lead going into the last hole, and then a nice old bogey to blow that.
Oh, that's the bogeys. The bogeys will get you every time.
Yep.
All right, Steve, let's jump into the standings here. Then we'll get to the slate. We'll keep the standings pretty short and sweet here. No major changes. Florida still in the lead, 79 points. Toronto is actually tied with them for 79. So we do have an interesting race going on for the top spot there. Tampa in third. They're saying, hey, don't forget about us. They have 76 points right now. Steve, what can you say about this 3-team race? And I think Tampa can close the gap. You know, they did have a setback, but it was just a 2-1 loss to their in-state rival. They bounced back very nicely against the Blue Jackets with a 6-2 win.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Out of these top 3 teams here, who do you like? I'm going to have to go with Tampa because you know you'll get the numbers for them.
It's tight. And Toronto gets blasted in Vegas. They probably can't wait to get home. Florida with injuries. Kachuk's out for the season, it sounds like now. They make it back
he's
for the
done
playoffs.
until the playoffs.
Yeah. So maybe this is the Lightning's here to steal away. Just 3 points behind, but they have an extra game in hand. And they are the hottest team out of that group, 9-1 in their last 10. So Tampa Bay surging at the right time, and they've been good. And then you've said it all along, Dave. Watch out for Tampa Bay, and here they are.
Yep, so I definitely like them to contend for that division. We'll certainly take a look, see what that number is towards the end of the show. But I would definitely not sleep on them at the moment. In the Metro, Caps still in first place. They now regain that 12-point lead they had over Carolina, 88 points for them. 76 points there for Carolina. New Jersey was 72. So, Steve, everything is, more or less the same. The Caps bounce back from that 3-game losing skid. Still maybe not playing their best game at this point right now with 20 games left. But they are, at least playing well enough to get a point or points out of these close games, which figure, the rest of the way it's probably going to be that way. The closer you get to the playoffs, you get the playoff type of feel for a lot of these games and a lot of these teams chasing that wild card spot. So what are your thoughts here? Any changes, any worries here with these teams?
The Caps were pushed to the limits by Ottawa. They have to go to a shootout after having a big lead. They evaporated that, right? A 3-goal lead. They let it slip away. And then when everything looked lost against the Rangers, they were able to find the goal late and they're able to steal it in overtime in that beautiful Tom Wilson goal where he tapped it in from the side. So it doesn't matter how you win, as long as you do get a win. These teams are good at the end of the day that you're playing. They are professional hockey teams. Not the prettiest of hockey at times by the Caps, but yeah, like you said, here they are right where they left off. I would just say that the kind of toughness that they've had to show here the last couple of games, they need to expand about that come playoff time here. And just find that toughness maybe a little bit earlier than rather than when their backs against the wall, and maybe get a little bit more up on the forecheck on the front foot there, and dictate terms a little bit better. The Capitals in good shape though, I would say overall. 20 games left to play for them.
Yep, 20 games left. So we'll see what they do, but they have a pretty big lead there. Figure, minus a total and complete meltdown, they're going to probably end up being the division champs once again. Now, here's where it gets interesting, Steve. The wild card, Columbus with 68 points. They're in the driver's seat for the first wild card spot. Second wild card spot belongs to Ottawa with 67. Now, before that game last night, it was the Rangers in the last spot. They have 67 points as well. Detroit was 66. They have a big game tonight, very meaningful. Montreal even with 65. Boston was 64. The Islanders was 63. You even have Philly hanging around with 62. Steve, this is so tight at the moment. I
don't think I've ever seen all these teams separated by just 1 point all the way up and down the ladder. Yeah, kind of cool to see. I mean, we have every number in the 60s just about covered as far as points go. How about Montreal with 5 wins in a row? We know they're in Edmonton tonight. That's a tough matchup for them. But the Ducks got 3 goals out of the gates against the Oilers the other night. Montreal will look to duplicate that kind of effort on the road.
And I think the
Canadians playing very, very well. Yeah. Both the Blue Jackets and the Canadians, the Blue Jackets had a little bit of a buzzsaw. It'll be interesting to see how they pick things up again against Florida tonight, the Red Hot Panthers, which is another good game on the slate tonight. We'll get to it. But Montreal playing very, very well. Detroit with a chance to right themselves at home tonight. And the Rangers sneakily climbing back up. Remember when the Rangers were last or second to the last in the Eastern Conference? Here they are midway up the pack now.
Yeah, interesting, Steve. They have fought back. We'll see what happens to them. A team that was really thought to probably win this division, and here they are fighting for their life. Outside looking in at the playoffs right now. So very interesting wild card race in the East. I expect that to get much better in the sense of it's probably going to stay the same, and it's going to be very, very interesting when it gets to about 9 and 10 games left, and these teams are, just battling it out for that spot. In the West, Steve, everything pretty much the same. Winnipeg leading that division with 88 points, Dallas with 82, Minnesota with 76. Everything's still the same there.
Yeah. Calgary with a nice effort of Philadelphia the other night. That's a game you got to win if you're Calgary on the road. And they were convincingly the best team in that game. They play again tonight. Tough matchup for them. We'll see how they fare tonight.
Yeah, yep. That's going to be an important one. So that's one on the slate, and we'll get to that. Vegas in the lead in the Pacific Division, thumping Toronto. I watched some of that game last night, and it was just all Vegas from the start. So they have 80 points at the moment. Edmonton was 74. I do still have some worries about them. LA, they have cooled down a bit too with 71. So really, Steve, it's still anybody's division here, but it to me looks like Vegas has a chance to really put this thing in a chokehold.
Right.
So the wild card race, Colorado with 74 points, they're looking, somewhat comfortable there. They could still slide into the third spot in that division, knocking down Minnesota into a wild card. So something to keep an eye on as well. Calgary, as you mentioned, Steve, they're holding the last wild card spot with 67. Vancouver tied with them. Right behind is St. Louis, who is a team I think I actually like to make the playoffs. You can probably still get a decent number out of them. I just like the kind of style of game that they try to, make their opponents play. Sometimes it works in their favor, and when it does, they really look like a team that can be in control. So they're not out of it by any stretch. Utah with 63 clinging to life, and even Anaheim with 61 just kind of hanging around there. So not much changes, but Steve, if we're looking in the wild card, I know Calgary is giving it their good effort, but I really like the Blues as a team to look out for here in the West. All right, well, let's jump into the slate then. We'll cue this up. All right, Steve, first game up, the Bruins and the Hurricanes. Let's see the goaltending matchup here this evening. Korpisalo in there for the Bruins. Pyotr Kochekov for Carolina, Russian goalie. Very hard name to say there. So interesting goaltender matchup here. This game is actually not one that really interests me a whole lot. Carolina is a team that I think should win this game. Boston kind of struggling. They've got Brad Marchand with an injury last game out, so I don't think he's going to play for a couple games. Which really hurts their efforts and an effort that they're already behind on. So I like Carolina in this game. The over-under tonight is 5.5. But, Steve, just to get any good plays out of Carolina, I think you're going to have to do some things that you're not going to get great numbers on. And at the end of the day, I don't think Carolina, is trustworthy of cashing these plays in. So it would probably be a no play for me. And again, not one that's interesting. You might think it is with where these two teams are, but Carolina they don't have that wow factor to me, Steve.
The Bruins still are a heavyweight. It's tough to see them at a plus 270 underdog. Almost hard to believe, kind of in a way. The fact that Carolina, in order for the Carolina to win this game, just in overtime or in regulation, is minus 345. And that's such a big number. You never see the Bruins as an underdog like that. You mentioned that the goaltenders, Dave. There's a chance for, I think, goals in this game. We saw Boston's offense kind of light it up the other night with Nashville in town. Carolina can have their hot or cold streaks as far as goals scoring goes, but it is a nice home ice advantage. And Boston presents the type of matchup where they might be able to get some goals themselves tonight. So I'm wondering if 5.5 might be too light for the total here in this game.
Yep, 5.5. 5.5 is always the number that I like to green light. These two teams, again, certainly capable of reaching that number. I just cannot trust either of them is the problem. So yeah, Steve, I think that's probably an angle you could wiggle in. I'm going to probably stay clear myself. Next game, Utah Hockey Club is in Detroit. As you mentioned, Steve, this is a good spot for Detroit to kind of get right. Although Utah, not a pushover, they're not going to give it to them either. Your goaltending matchup here tonight, Alex Lyon in goal for Detroit, where you have Vamelka in there for Utah, and he's played nicely for them all year. So that kind of factors back into that angle of, I don't think Utah is going to get blown out of the building here by any stretch. Steve, I think my angle here, let's get to the lines real quick. 6.5 is your total tonight with minus 130 on the Utah Hockey Club. So they're actually favored on the road here in this game. Detroit plus 110, so you can get a good 60-minute line for them as well. But, Steve, I think the goal total here is is 2.5 for Detroit.
I think we have some
home.
internet
I think
fluctuations
should be very doable. Yeah, I had a pop-up sent me off the screen here.
Yeah. No, we're good to go now. I think we had a little
Can you
power
hear me?
glitch in the studio here. Yep. I got you.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, Steve, my angle here, we're going to try it 2.5 goals with the Red Wings, which tonight is going to be at it's at a minus 155. I think let's just keep it achievable here. So, Steve, give me the Red Wings over 2.5 goals tonight.
I was looking at that one myself. I think there's better plays on the board. I went ahead and crossed it out. Utah is kind of a stingy team at times. A tough team to read, really, at the end of the day. And the fact is that Utah is a favorite on the road here at Detroit. I know we've lost 3 in a row here if you're a Red Wings fan. But with the hockey club coming in here and just kind of still an unknown commodity to me, I think I'll pass on this, Dave.
All right. I mean, yeah, I could definitely see your reasonings to want to do that. So I think that's pretty fair as well. Next game up, Columbus is traveling to Florida. They're taking on the Panthers there. Down there just outside of Miami. Goalies tonight is going to be Elvis Merzlikins for Columbus and Sergei Bobrovsky, their ever-trusty goaltender there for the Florida Panthers. That's an interesting matchup, Steve. I think we can see some goals here in this one. We've seen Columbus, what they're able to do. They can score when they get it going. The defending champs, we know that they can score at a decent clip, even with Tkachuk out. I still think they have the means to put some numbers up. Your total tonight, over 6.5. I believe I played it in a ticket, plus 110 for the over tonight. So I definitely like that. Plus 250 for the Jackets on the money line. Panthers heavy favorite at home, minus 310. I could certainly understand why. But I think the Blue Jackets could be worth a team total if you wanted to try and kind of squeeze a better number out. But I think I like goals here in this contest, Steve. Give me over 6.5 tonight.
I'm going to stick with that Blue Jackets team total over 2.5. We're getting a nice little plus number on that. I get it. They've been in Florida after Tampa. Now they've been marooned in South Beach, and that's not the best most sober place to be marooned. Let's just put it that way. So it'll be interesting to see how the Blue Jackets show up down in Florida. I'm going to give them the credit, though, that this is a big key game for them, and I think that they can get that over 2.5. So I'll stick with that.
All right, I like it. Next game going to be Winnipeg traveling to Philly to take on the Flyers. Steve, boy, this is one that is going to be weird to say, but I'm just not sure about this one. I did make a couple plays in case it goes the way that I think it should go, but we see that that's not always the case. Eric Comrie is in goal for Winnipeg tonight. Samuel Arison for Philly, so no Hellebuck in goal for Winnipeg, and that makes me even more nervous. They're losers of 3 in a row right now. Philly is at least giving teams some games right now. So I think this is a time to jump on a Philly team total. I believe I took it at over 2.5. Was a plus 113 or something like that, I believe. Now, I made a play for the other side as well. You get a nice plus 170 for the Jets on the puck line. And that play is, like I said, just kind of more so in case the better team does what we think it should do. But with that goaltender matchup, the Jets, they're kind of fizzling out here in a 3-game losing skid. So, Steve, I'm going to take a shot here with the Flyers over 2.5 goals tonight.
Yeah, I got the Jets team goals, and trust me, it's scary. This is one I kind of wavered on, but I had to fill the ticket up. So in the Jets, I'll just trust again. I've trusted them a good part of the season, so we might as well let them rip one more time here against the Philly team who can give up goals at the end of the day. But I see the goalies are concerning. I could see this as an over 5.5, to be honest. That would not shock me here. This is low for the goaltender involved here.
No, that would probably be a good play. I could see over 5.5 in that game as well. So, Steve, next game up, Buffalo taking on the red-hot Tampa Bay Lightning. This one's in Tampa, so some home energy for them. Goaltender matchup is Vasilevsky in goal, ever trusty there for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then you have Pekka Luukkonen there for Buffalo. Steve, short and simple in this one. I played 2 things out of this one. I love the Tampa team goals here. I think they're achievable to get to 4 goals tonight against Buffalo. I think the over is certainly in play as well. We've seen that Buffalo can at least help out that cause. I know that, they have Vasilevsky in goal tonight. But I think Buffalo can help you out with 2, maybe 3, and Tampa does the rest for you. So, Steve, give me a Tampa washing here. I also like the minus 1.5 Tampa play as well on the puck line. You are getting a plus number out of it still. So over 6.5, a possibility. Tampa team goals, a good play, and a puck line while you're getting that plus money as well, Steve.
I could see it a blowout here for Tampa. 4 in a row now are losers for the Sabres. It seems like they're about ready just to pack it in for the season. They're one of the few teams in the East where, they're basically out of it at this point. You can't say that about many teams, but you can probably say that about them, considering where they stand in the standings, sitting at dead last. I like it. Give me Tampa on there over 3.5.
All right. Next game up, going at a pretty nice clip here. Interesting games. Calgary is in Dallas to take on the Stars. This is going to be a tough matchup for them tonight. So we'll see what kind of grit they bring into this one. Dan Vlader is in goal for Calgary, while Jake Ottinger is in goal for Dallas, ever trusty for them as well. I like Ottinger. Very good goaltender in my eyes. Very solid for Dallas. I think I made the play here, Steve. Dallas on the puck line is at plus 114, so that's minus 1.5 for Dallas. They should be able to do that here, kind of counting on the home energy maybe to help that cause. The over-under is 6.5. I'm not sure about that. I mean, it could be, maybe a Dallas 3-1 type of game here is what I'm picturing. So we'll see about this one. Give me Dallas minus 1.5 on the puck line tonight.
All right. Calgary, we mentioned them before. Feisty team. They've been a little stingy here. I kind of want to lean under on this, under 6.5, knowing that Dallas will probably win this game 3-1, 3-2, something like that. Now, if they come out and blow it out of the water, that's not going to shock me either. I do have a ticket with Dallas over 3.5 goals tonight. But I did a little double take look at Calgary when I put it in, kind of like the same way I did with Winnipeg. I did it for the name. I didn't do it out of being comfortable about doing it. That's for sure. But I'll trust the brand name Dallas to win this game at home. They'll be able to put up at least 3 goals, 4 if I'm lucky.
20-1 odds for a 3-1 correct score there.
Interesting.
That's pretty enticing. I might actually look at that when we get off the air here. All right, next game up. This is kind of a weird one here to me. I don't think I had any plays on it. Seattle is in Nashville to take on the Preds. Your goaltending matchup tonight. UC Saros is in goal for the Predators. Solid goalie for them. And Joey Decord in goal for Seattle. And he's actually been solid for them as well.
No, Seattle's been kind of sneaky defensive-wise here.
Right.
And playing a little tough. Yep.
So, again, this game, your total here is at 5.5. But it's plus money right now for this game to go under. And I could definitely see these two teams going under in this goaltender matchup. This game has goaltenders duel written all over it, if you're asking me. Plus 114 for the Kraken, minus 135 on the money line for the Preds. Steve, I think we just attacked this one on the under. Preds, they don't give you the most goals, so let's play the under here.
Probably makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you think of Nashville as a dead under team, and they can't score at all. As I put them in the penalty box in our last time around here, and you just said it. Seattle's they've been tough, stingy. I'm going to take the Kraken here on the money line plus 110. I think they can win this game and get a nice little plus price out of it. I'll hold my nose a little bit while we're doing it because it is Seattle at the end of the day. But we'll try them. We'll try them out tonight.
Yeah, Steve. I mean, I could definitely see that. And Jacob Vrana put on waivers by the Capitals. He gets picked up by who, Steve? The Nashville Predators.
Oh, wow.
So Jacob Vrana plays for Nashville now. I don't think he'll play tonight, but he should get some action here pretty soon for them. Next game up, Montreal is in Edmonton to take on the Oilers. Your goaltending matchup tonight. Sam Montembeault for Montreal, and he's been decent for them as well. And Stuart Skinner is in goal for Edmonton. Seems like he's been the guy for them for a while. But Steve, still, from show to show, that has been my question. And I think they are poking around. The NHL trade deadline is tomorrow. I've heard, different reports of Edmonton maybe looking for some goalie help. And I think they need it, Steve. That's been a huge question mark for me about them. And I think they definitely need to add some depth there in the net. I like the Montreal team total here, 2.5. I played it. And I think maybe they don't win this game, but I think they have the capabilities to hang around and get their total in what, could be a high-scoring matchup here. We've seen Montreal able to score goals. Then we know Edmonton, that's something that they do very well with all the skill that they have over there. It's just unfortunate for them. I feel like the defense lacks a little bit, and the goaltending, they're not the strongest team on the back end, which I think is really hurting them at the end of the day. The over-under tonight is 6.5. I could see 7.5 maybe in this one. Plus 205 for the Canadians on the money line, minus 250 for the Oilers. I don't know, Steve. I think Montreal hangs around in this one. Give me their team total.
I agree. I'll take the team total for Montreal. I think they're live to win this game. That's how bad Edmonton's been kind of struggling here, and Montreal's been hot. They're a hungry team. They're a physical team, and I'll take a chance with them on the road here tonight in Edmonton.
Yes, they they are enticing to take on a money line at plus 205, or even a 60 if you really want to get frisky with it.
Right,
that would be fun.
Paying good.
So maybe we do a little something with that as well. All right, so let's go Montreal out there in the Edmonton Oilers territory. Last game up, Steve, moving at a very nice clip here on a Thursday. San Jose Sharks are in Colorado, take on the Avalanche. You're over under here, 6.5. Plus 330 for the Sharks on the money line. Heavy favorite, Colorado, minus 425. I don't think that there's anything really appealing here in this game. You got Georgiev in goal for San Jose. Blackwood's going to be in goal for Colorado. I just think Colorado should really have every edge here. If you want to play some numbers kind of game, I think I was looking at maybe San Jose for 3 goals, which is going to be at a plus number. They have shown some feistiness, but really just not enough to get anything done. They're in the same boat, really. We talk about the Chicago Blackhawks being a rebuilding team a lot. Well, San Jose is the exact same thing, but maybe even a little bit worse. They're trying to bring pieces in there. It's going to take some time for them. This should be every angle you want to go about Colorado. But again, I don't know, just not exactly enticing. You have a number like minus 155 on the puck line at minus 1.5. You just really have to climb the high ladder here to get anything out of Colorado. And Steve, I just think there's better plays on the board.
Yeah, I do too. I'll go ahead and avoid this. Colorado struggled until late against Pittsburgh the other night. They weren't really able to open it up on their poor defense. So I'll go ahead and skip Colorado this go around. And maybe I'll add them onto a late night ticket. But yeah, I think better plays on the board.
All right, Steve, that is the slate. We got some futures to look at. We've got a goal scorer. We've got the penalty box. But before we do that, do we want to take a quick little rundown of the slate tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, we have games all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so that's going to be kind of fun. Let's see. We got Winnipeg and New Jersey tomorrow, so beware of the Jets on the back-to-back, although you can be rest assured Hellebuck will be in that game. That looks like a possible under to me. The Capitals will be fortunate to get the Red Wings on a back-to-back. Utah will be on a back-to-back at Chicago. Vancouver and Minnesota both off tonight in an interesting game, probably a lower scoring game if you think of it that way. And then the Blues are in Anaheim, Pittsburgh in Vegas. So Vegas looks like probably the best play on the board to me, considering the poor form for Pittsburgh. Besides that, every matchup seems kind of tough for the most part. Capitals probably with the advantage at home there as well.
Yeah, I'm going to play team total on that one. Maybe take it up to 4. I think they could probably do that. I'm going to give the St. Louis Blues a shot too, Steve, against Anaheim. Minus 1.5 is at plus 170 right now. That could be another one of those 3-1, maybe even 3-2, just sliding under. Because the under is 5.5 on that. But I think that game, I don't see 6 goals there in that one. Unless the Blues really blow the top off things. But I'm going to give them a chance there in that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's view some futures. We wanted to look in the division, Steve, the Atlantic Division, some pretty good numbers here. Plus 115 for the Panthers, plus 160 for the Leafs. And then there's the Lightning at plus 370. I love that. I think that's a great number to win that division. Any thoughts there?
Yep. No, I mean, nothing has really changed from the last few days here overall. Obviously it's the 3-horse race, and Tampa does have that better number. Probably playing the better of those 3 teams as well.
Right. All right, let's look at the Eastern Conference plus 370.
Well, Florida's playing good, but the injuries are concerning.
Right. No, absolutely. Tampa maybe a little bit more healthy with a little bit more momentum. So, and that could definitely, man, Steve, that would be a fantastic first-round matchup right there in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is certainly a possibility. So I'm really looking forward to this tournament this year. I think we're going to have some really fun matchups come the first round. Eastern Conference, Florida Panthers plus 370, Carolina Hurricanes plus 370, the Washington Capitals plus 550, Tampa plus 550, the Leafs at 6-1, the Devils 13-1, and then it really kind of drops off there. So, Steve, more or less really the same thing there in the East. Do you have anything different, any different thoughts than Monday evening?
Nah, not really. Just the fact that the Columbus number is probably down again, right?
Yeah. Columbus to win. It's at 50-1 still over here.
Yeah, 50-1. So that's the letdown for me. Wait, and where are the Capitals sitting?
Plus 550 to win the East.
Yeah. The days of all the good numbers seem to be gone in the East.
Yeah, yep. Them futures, the closer it gets to the end of the season, those are really going to shrink up on us. Looks like that is happening at the moment as well. So figure, I don't know, Steve, those numbers might be kind of as good as it gets, so to speak, right now for the East. In the West, the Oilers still the favorite at plus 350. Dallas at plus 370. I like that number for them. 5-1 for the Jets, 6-1 for the Knights, 7-1 for the Avalanche, plus 750 for the Kings, who are sliding. So a little worried about them right now as well. Minnesota 13-1, and then it really kind of drops off. But you do have St. Louis, who we're giving a little bit of love to at 75-1. So Steve, again, maybe the same deal as the East. The West numbers still, more or less the same. So you have any different thoughts there than Monday?
Yeah, I mean, basically just all the same here overall to me. The class is at the top, and I feel like at the end of the day we'll just end up seeing the cream in the semifinals there in the West.
Right. All right, Steve. Let's pick a goal scorer for tonight. What do you say?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let me get that up.
And I think I have two that I like. All right, Steve. Start us off there.
Okay. All right. So I went ahead and did something different. I went ahead and did a round robin of first goal scorers.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to take the favorites here for the most part. But I did a 6-player round robin of first goal scorers. And I did it for 50 cents each of the parlay legs. And total cost is $20.50. Just put it this way: if 5 of these 6 guys score the first goal, we'll be rolling. I went ahead and took Pasternak for the Bruins, Kucherov for the Lightning, Werenski for the Blue Jackets, Rupe Hintz for Dallas, and then I took a split with Connor McDavid and my man Nick Suzuki, who scored the other night on our show when I said that he would. And
Yep, absolutely.
Those are my five picks, 5 different games. First goal scorer, round robin.
All right, I like that. A little bit different style there for the goal scorers. I'm going to go with 2 tonight. Steve, I'm going to go with a Canadian as well from Montreal. Patrick Laine to score tonight. He's at a plus 280. And then we got to pick somebody from Tampa Bay, I feel like, just as well as they're playing. Jake Gensel at a plus 165 is a very nice number. He's heavily involved in the things that they like to do. So, Steve, that's at about a plus 9 to 1. So if you put $10 on these two guys, you're looking at a $100 payout there. So that's not bad at all. We might end up playing that some as well. So again, that is Laine and Gensel from the Lightning. So that's a fun way to do things there when you get a couple games like that.
Yep.
All right, Steve, let's start somebody in the penalty box.
All right. The refs always take a second.
Switch 7 guys. Mike, come on. You can't do that. That was probably number 10. 2 minutes broken. I got 82. Tampa tripping.
All right, go ahead, Dave. Who you got?
All right. You know what, Steve? I'm going to go with the Buffalo Sabres. I just think it has to be that way. A team that's, like you said at the start of the show, a team that you can pretty much kind of write off, getting ready to pack it in. So things are not going to get much easier. They're up against probably the hottest team in hockey right now, being the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, Steve, I think the best candidate at this point is going to be Buffalo.
I'm going to take – this is going to pain me to say this. I'll go and throw the Kings in there. Losers of 5 in a row. They've been stumbling pretty bad here. They need to turn it around as they were one of the stronger teams in the West, but they're sliding down the standings now. If they're not careful, they're going to find themselves out of the playoffs.
Yeah, Steve, that's actually a pretty good pick. Again, I've said it a couple times. I have some worries about them sliding like that at this point in the season. So we'll keep an eye on them, see if maybe one of them contenders in the West can jump on top of that and gain some points on them. So something to look out there for as well. All right, Steve, that's the slate, the goal scorers for the evening. The candidates for the penalty box, the Stinkies at the moment. So I think we found some pretty good plays here on an interesting slate of Thursday night hockey games all weekend. So that'll be fun. Saturday is always a fun day with hockey, with no college football and NFL and things of that nature. So they kind of take the front seat there on Saturdays at the moment. So some good stuff to watch out for this weekend. And before we get out of here, any programming notes to mention?
We'll do Tuesday night. We'll do a bet to the future right before the big tournaments start for the March Madness. We're going to do one tonight, but quite frankly, I'm not prepared. So we'll do it on Tuesday. And that will keep us rolling.
All right, yep.
Through the, until football season, we'll say.
Yeah, that sounds good, Steve. Yep, give us a little bit of time to prepare for that one as well. All right, so good stuff. We've got the regulars on the everything else. So for us here, what the puck is going on. Hopefully, we've gave you some good picks here, some good angles to go about these games. So if you have some picks, good luck, and we'll see you back here Monday evening. What the puck is going on.
Good luck, everybody.
What the puck is going on?